Hi everyone, welcome to the second audio Q&A. Thank you to everyone that submitted a question. I will try to answer them to the best of my ability. The first question is, which character do you want to get a happy ending the most? I think probably Regina. I mean, I've been a fan of Regina since the first moment I've watched the show, and she has made a lot of progress recently, and I think I'd like her to get her happy ending, whatever that might be. Belle also, and that may or may not be with Rumpel. I think in the next season I really want to see more of just Belle in Storybrooke and more about her character on her own and without a love interest. I'd really like to just see how she interacts individually with other characters in Storybrooke, and just working just to figure out what her happy ending could be. I mean, I had always thought that it was with Rumpel, but obviously after everything that happened at the end of season 3, that became quite apparent that it wasn't going to work. So yes, Belle and Regina. Next question, how long does it take you to make the confessions? It often depends on how many I have. Now that the show's on hiatus, I don't receive that many a day, so I'm only spending maybe half an hour, 45 minutes working on confessions. When the show is airing, particularly on a Monday, when I wake up in the morning and make confessions, it can take me over an hour and a half. I've had days where I've woken up to 50 confessions, and that does take a long time with the screen capping, the editing, the text, the size of the photos. It just really depends on how many I receive on a particular day. It varies. Next question is, are you excited for the Merlin arc? Did you watch the BBC series? No, I didn't watch the BBC series. I tried it, wasn't really my thing. I wasn't that into it. So I am somewhat excited for the Merlin arc. I think it's going to bring some interesting dynamics. I'd like to see if maybe Lancelot would return, as we were introduced to him in season 2, and just seeing more of his story potentially. Obviously meeting Merlin. I am hoping that, I know a lot of people have expressed an interest in wanting to see the cast from the BBC series kind of reprise their roles in Once Upon a Time, but I am hoping that they don't. I'm hoping that we go down a completely unique route with Once Upon a Time, and just seeing who might play that role would be interesting for me. Arthurian legends have kind of interested me in my life, and just seeing how we would tackle such stories, if we tackle them at all, really, because we've got a lot left over from last season, which I'm very pleased about. We often rush in a finale to tie up all the loose ends, but that wasn't done this season. I'm happy that we've got a bit longer to finish some stories. So yes and no is the answer to that question. Have you met a cast member? If not, who would you most like to meet? I haven't met a cast member. I'd rather like to meet all of them, really. Whenever I've read about people that have met them, they always seem to be really sweet and kind and encouraging and inspirational. So I'd love to meet all of them, particularly Emily de Raven. and Lana Priya, I think, would be my top two. Robert Carlyle, of course. What is your favourite movie based on a book that you have read? Hands down, for me, it has to be Girl Interrupted. I mean, it's a memoir by Susanna Kaysen, and it tells her story about her time she spent in a psychiatric unit. And although the film varies somewhat from the account told in the novel, it's still a very good film. I mean, you've got a perfect casting of Winona Ryder and Angelina Jolie, and watching them play off against each other in the film, in the roles they're playing, is quite something. And the late great Brittany Murphy as well. And yeah, but her character and her story is a little bit painful, especially more painful since her death. But I would definitely recommend it to a lot of people. I love that film. Also, have you seen any films recently that you've really loved? With regards to films that have come out recently, I've been quite disappointed. There have been many films that I had been so excited to see and ultimately felt incredibly let down by them. Films like horror films in particular. There was The Purge, Sinister, and then what was the other one? The Possession, I think it was called, which highly anticipated and highly let down. That's something to go into later, perhaps. I think Mama would be an exception to that rule. It was a film that I was really excited to see, and it lived up to its potential. I haven't seen it recently, but that was one that I loved. With regards to a film that I have seen recently, I think Big Hero 6 was quite surprising to me. I was apprehensive. I wasn't sure whether I would like it or not, but of course Baymax is... How can you not love Baymax? And the story, it surprised me. So yes, I loved Big Hero 6. Favourite Queen of Darkness? Again, it was Maleficent, hands down. I have a lot of time for Maleficent. I'm enjoying her, and having seen more of her, I'd always wanted to know more about her story since she was introduced in season 1. So now we have that opportunity, it seems, and that she might stick around. I'm so excited for it. Which character would you most like to see return to the show? I think Jefferson, because we were introduced to his story, we looked into it somewhat, but I still feel there is a lot there. I mean, the follow-up to being with Grace / Paige would be really nice to see. I know it's unlikely, but he's just one of many I'd love to see. I'd love to see more of Cinderella's story. Ruby definitely coming back. I love Ruby. So, and Mulan as well. Mulan and Aurora's story I would love to see more of. Oh wow, you have a day in Storybrooke. What do you do? It's a really good question, actually. I think I would be tempted to just go to Granny's and sit there for most of the day, just watching all of the characters come in, the different scenarios. Everything seems to happen at Granny's, all of the drama. So I would just sit there with a cup of hot chocolate with cinnamon and watch it all unfold. I'm looking for some new music to listen to. Can you recommend anything to me? I listen to a lot of Sia myself, so I can recommend anything by her. Other than that, let's see what an iPod shuffle comes up with. I've got some Flyleaf. Flyleaf are always good. Tori Amos. Anything by Tori Amos I can also recommend. And what else is there? Time to Say Goodbye, which is actually a song from the RWBY soundtrack. If you're not familiar with RWBY and you like anime, sort of something like that, I recommend checking that out as well. So they're my suggestions. What's the next question? Are you into podcasts? Do you have any that you listen to? The only podcast I listen to is the Rooster Teeth podcast. Other than that, I don't really listen to any more, so I couldn't say definitively whether I'm into them or not, I guess, but I like the Rooster Teeth one. It's my favourite. So I should give more a try. If you have any that you could recommend to me, then feel free. And what is your favourite item on the show? For example, mine is the Dark One's dagger. By the way, I love the once stuff you make. Thank you very much. That's very sweet. I think, well, I'm a big fan of the chip cup. My poor heart when Belle smashed the cup. I was in pieces. So definitely the chip cup is one of my favourites. Other than that, I really like the book. I think it's the foundation of the show, really, and I am a big fan of the book. I like the pixie dust as well. I would like to know more about pixie dust. Obviously, we know what it does, but I just want to know more about it, if that makes sense. Like its origin or something. We might have already covered it and I've forgotten, but if we haven't, I definitely want to know the origin of the pixie dust. I think I have covered all of the questions that I had. Just a reminder that the giveaway competition that I'm running will be closing soon. I'll follow this with the slides reminding you of what needs to be done. And also at the end of that, you'll find a special discount code for my shop, which is for you, my lovely followers, for just supporting my blog and me through the years I've been running it, as a little thank you. So if you see anything you like, just pop in that code at the checkout and you'll get a 10% discount off of purchases. So that's it for this Q&A. The next one will be at the end of June, in which I'll be discussing the winners of the competition. I will also be launching the fan chosen section of the competition, so keep an eye out for that. Thank you very much again for everyone that sent in a question, and I'll see you next time.